Hello, this is Jack from Fluency.com, and in this lesson we are going to talk about some common slang phrases and expressions that are used in the UK, and also I'm going to be more specific and talk about some slang phrases and just common everyday expressions from Lancashire, which is where I'm from. But first, check this out, to fluency.com/book. This is my book, The 5-Step Plan for English Fluency. You can download that for free. If you are new here, welcome. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And then after this lesson, go watch my other lessons that I've just made. We talk about phrasal verbs around the house and phrasal verbs with get. So definitely check that out. Okay, so I've got a lot of phrases to go through. This is going to be a fun lesson. I'm also going to teach some dialects, if I can, and look at the way that people speak in everyday English. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at words like cheeky, fancy, funny, dodgy, rubbish, nip, bloody, faff around, gutted. And then we'll get into the Lancashire phrases. Now, if you're watching live, then leave your comments in the live chat so you can practice some phrases with me. And then just click that share button to share the lesson. First one today, let's get straight into it. And this is a good one. Cheeky. Cheeky. Can you see this? Is this clear? Cheeky. Okay. I'm also going to leave a list in the description for you. But cheeky has a few different meanings, okay? And it's used a lot to talk about children. But you can use it for other people too. It's mainly used when somebody is being rude or disrespectful, but in a playful way. So it's not too serious. You don't really use it in a serious way. And there's another term for this, just to give it extra emphasis, which is a cheeky monkey. He's a cheeky monkey. He is a cheeky monkey. Okay? And so it just means somebody is being a little bit rude, a little bit disrespectful, but it's not too serious. Cheeky. He's very cheeky. He's being cheeky. Now, there's a difference there, because if you say he is cheeky, that's describing what he is usually like. He's normally cheeky. But if you say he's being cheeky in the continuous form, you're saying in this moment, right now. Maybe he's not normally cheeky, but he's been cheeky. Or you've been really cheeky today. You're being really cheeky today. Another way it's used, and I love this way, is, I'll just give you an example. Do you understand what it means to go for a cheeky Nandos? A cheeky Nandos or a cheeky pint? Let's get a cheeky pint. Let's grab a cheeky pint. Let's get a cheeky pint. Let's get a cheeky Nandos. I'm going for a cheeky pint. This is used when you get some food or drink normally, but it's quite spontaneous. You don't have a plan for it. And it's very informal. It's an informal way of doing it, a cheeky pint. So that means to get a pint of beer spontaneously, and maybe you shouldn't be doing it. A cheeky Nandos. Now, Nandos is a restaurant that serves chicken. And when I was at university, they had one in Leeds, but now I think they're everywhere. Nandos. It's a very, very popular restaurant. A cheeky pint, a cheeky Nandos, and to be cheeky. The next one is something I use all the time. And I'm just going to give you some context. I'm from the UK, but I live in America. And I've been here since 2011. So there are certain phrases from the UK that I don't use anymore. But this one is something I still say. Fancy. Fancy. Now, there are things like fancy dress, which are costumes, but the way I'm going to teach you today is two different things. And this is like saying want in some situations. I fancy a beer. I fancy a beer. Do you fancy going to the cinema? Do you fancy going to the cinema? Do you? Do you fancy? Do you fancy going to the cinema? So I'm trying to speak at a quick pace here, using that contracted speech. Do you fancy going to the cinema? Do you fancy going out tonight? I fancy going to a restaurant. I fancy getting some Mexican food. It's like, this is what you want to do. This is your preference. So it's used a lot like that. But it can also mean to like somebody romantically. So you might hear someone say, I think he fancies you. I think he fancies you. Which means I think he has a crush on you. I think he likes you in a romantic way. I think he fancies you. This was used all the time when I was at school. Who do you fancy? Who do you fancy? So that's such a common way to use it. But we also use it, like I said, for want. Do you want a beer? Do you fancy a beer? So it's a great one to use. Good to see you all in the chat. I don't know why people say they live in the USA, say that they live in America. Well, if you say I live in America, sometimes people from South America don't like it. Next one. This is another good one. And I don't think I use this a lot at the moment, but I also say when I go home, it's very easy for me to start using slang terms again and common expressions, informal expressions. And here's another one, dodgy. Dodgy, can you read that? Dodgy, dodgy. So I'll give you an example. I think this car dealership is a little bit dodgy. I think this car dealership is a little bit dodgy. Or I think this restaurant is a little bit dodgy. Or that person seems a little bit dodgy. Now this means dishonest or unreliable. So if you say that company's a bit dodgy, you're saying that they're not very honest. You don't trust them. You don't trust them. It's a little bit dodgy. And it can also be used for if something is potentially dangerous. So you can say, that's a dodgy area. That's a dodgy area. Or I wouldn't do that, it's a bit dodgy. I wouldn't do that, it's a bit dodgy. It's a bit dangerous, potentially dangerous. Dodgy. Sounds funny, doesn't it, after a while? Dodgy. Dodgy. Have you heard that one before? Dodgy. Just a quick yes or no in the chat. Dodgy. And then the next one, which is something that I use a lot still. Most people haven't seen it. Interesting. Okay, the next one. Rubbish. 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 That's what you hear people say. My dad uses this a lot. Rubbish. Now, you might know this for, there's a lot of rubbish on the streets. Or take the rubbish out, take the trash out. Rubbish equals trash. After 10 years, I've started saying trash. Okay, take the trash out. But rubbish equals trash. But it's more commonly used, or another way to use it, is to criticize something. To say something is terrible. So when I when I say to my parents, I remember this, I said, watch The Office. Watch The Office, it's a really good TV show. Try it, watch it. My dad just said, rubbish, it's rubbish. I could do that, it's rubbish. Which means it's terrible. I don't think it's very good. Okay, rubbish. And you can also just use it to disagree with someone. If someone says, I think that we have to do this in order to achieve this, you say, rubbish. I don't agree with your opinion. But yeah, rubbish, it's rubbish. It's rubbish. It is rubbish. All right, I'm going to do this one next. And I'm going to give you 2. I'm just going to nip to the loo. 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 Which means I'm going to go to the toilet really quickly. I'm going to go to the toilet really quickly. Or, I don't know what they say in America for this. Maybe, I'm just going to go to the restroom. I'm just going to go to the restroom, but nip to the loo. So to nip somewhere means to go somewhere quickly. Or not to spend a long time going somewhere. Nip to the shops. I'm just going to nip to the shops. Nip to the shops. Or I'm just going to nip outside for a little bit. I'm just going to nip outside for a little bit. But loo, that part is a restroom. Loo or toilet. I'm just going to nip to toilet. That's the Lancashire. We're going to do Lancashire soon. I'm just going to nip to toilet. I'm just going to nip to the loo. So you might hear people say that. I'm just going to nip to the loo. I'm just going to nip outside. I'm just going to nip to the shops. I'm just going to nip to the shops. Do you want anything? Have you heard nip before? Anyone? Yes or no? Is nip somewhere, to nip somewhere, is that new to you? Let me know. All right, before I do the next one, just a reminder, if you're new, press that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I'm just seeing the comments. Because I'm going to go live again, maybe Friday, maybe next week. At the moment, about 2 or 3 times a week. But most people say that they haven't heard that before. Absolutely new, somebody says. Good. All right. Which one should I do next? I'm going to do... You probably know this one. I'll do this one quite quickly. My marker is running out, so I'm going to do it in red. This next one I taught about 3 years ago. And it's informal language. Be careful about using all of these because it's slang, okay? And when it comes to using slang, it's good to use it in the right moment. But at the same time, this is fun, isn't it? It's fun. Next one, bloody, bloody. This is used a lot in British English. I know a lot of people who use this term a lot. I do as well. You probably know bloody hell, which is an expression when you want to show anger or disappointment or maybe surprise. Like, bloody hell, that's incredible. Or bloody hell, it's raining. So we use it in both ways. Surprise, something is great. Bloody hell, that's amazing. And then disappointment, something is bad. Bloody hell, it's raining. Bloody hell, it's raining. And a lot of the time we don't enunciate the H. The H. I nearly said H, which is American English. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. This is contracting together. But you can also use it to emphasize a sentence. It's bloody rubbish. The office is bloody rubbish. It's bloody rubbish. I don't agree, but that's what my dad will say. The office is bloody rubbish. Good. Bloody hell. Next one. This is my favourite. This is the most fun out of all the ones we're doing. And it's this. I didn't know if I was going to do this one or not. If I was going to teach you this. But let's just do it, all right? Faff around. Stop faffing around. Do you know what this means? If I say stop faffing around, do you know what that means? To stop faffing around. I'm going to tell you, if you tell someone to stop faffing around, what you're saying is stop messing about, stop wasting your time. So I'll give this example. Hypothetically, if a husband says to his wife, come on, we need to leave, stop faffing around. Maybe the wife is taking too long to get ready. You might tell your children, stop faffing around, which means they're not putting on their shoes. They're not getting ready to go outside. They're just messing around. They're playing. They're making a mess. Stop faffing around. That's what it means. It can be quite, again, this one can be quite strong. Use it with your friends, not with your boss, not during an IELTS interview. So if you're in an IELTS class, or let's just say not during a language class to your teacher. If your teacher is taking their time, they're messing around, they're not getting on with the lesson, don't say, stop faffing around. It's a little bit rude, but it's a great one to know, faff around. Yeah, especially don't use it in the IELTS exam. None of this should be used in IELTS exams. Next one. Okay. I use this a lot still, and I know it's British because people have asked me recently, what does that mean? What does that mean? And it's this one. Gutted. Gutted. Notice the ending, id. Gutted. Gutted. I'm gutted. I'm gutted about something. Do you know what this one means? If I say, I'm gutted about the football season, do you know what this one means? I'll tell you. It means I'm really disappointed about something. I'm upset about something. I'm gutted about the football season being cancelled. That's quite an advanced phrase. I'm gutted about the football season being cancelled. I'm gutted about the football season being cancelled. That means I'm disappointed that the football season is cancelled. To be gutted about something, to be upset, to be sad. Exactly, Susanta. Thank you. To be gutted about something. Devastated. Yeah. Could you please say which one can be used in American English too? All of these they're all British phrases. And again, like I just said, with that gutted one, I know people don't use it here because when I use it, people don't understand it. So gutted. Do you always use with about? Yeah, I'm gutted about. I'm gutted about it. You can just say, I'm gutted. I'm gutted. But when you're explaining what you are gutted about, use about. All right, the next step of this, or the next part of this language class, this English lesson is going to be about Lancashire expressions and phrases. And I've got about 5 to teach here, and I love them. They're great. This is for Lancashire. Some are for the north of England, and if you use them or hear them in the south, maybe people use them a little bit there. But mainly speaking, this is from where I am from. And I did a little bit of research, and it was hard for me to know how common they are because I haven't been in Lancashire for a while. But I know people still use these ones, and they're fun. And I just want to teach one first, which is really interesting. Okay. Now, in Lancashire, we like to shorten our sentences. We like to contract things, and we like to omit or leave out certain words, especially prepositions and articles. Okay? So we don't like to say to. We don't like to say to the. We don't like to use auxiliary verbs either. Because look at this sentence. You'll hear people in Lancashire say this. And when I went to university, people used to tease me about this because I used to say it as well. Catching bus. How interesting is that? Catching bus. This means, are you taking the bus? Are you taking the bus? Or are you catching the bus? Are you catching the bus? But in Lancashire, we just say catching bus, going shop, going shop. So everything is just contracted. We take out lots of the different words and we just say what we want to say. There's a great video to watch. There's this game that used to be played, I think in Lancashire and Yorkshire, and I'm going to leave a link to it. I might actually do a video on this because it's just so interesting, because they play this game which looks like golf, and when they're explaining how to play the game, they don't use any prepositions or any articles. It's brilliant. So they don't say to or the. Yeah, someone said, let's create a Telegram group. What do you think? What do you think? I have a Telegram group, but I stopped using it because there weren't many people following me there. All right, catching bus. Let's just do a few more Lancashire phrases. This one is great. And it's the opposite of gutted. It's the opposite of gutted. To be gutted about something and to be chuffed about something. I'm chuffed, chuffed. Or in Lancashire, I'm chuffed, chuffed. I'm chuffed. I'm chuffed. I'm chuffed. Which means I'm really happy about something. I'm chuffed about the weather. I'm chuffed about the weather. So that's how we use that one, to be chuffed. Chuffed to bits. Okay? That's extending it, to be chuffed to bits, which means I'm really happy about something. To be chuffed to bits. To be chuffed to bits. To be excited, somebody asked. It's more about to be happy about something. For example, I'm chuffed he got that job. I'm chuffed he got that job. I'm chuffed he got that job. So that's how we use that one, to be really happy about a situation. And then you can say chuffed to bits. Chuffed to bits. All right, the next one, cracking flags. If I say it's cracking flags out there, it's cracking flags out there, what do you think that means? It's cracking flags out there. It's cracking flags out there. Do you know what that means? It means it's really hot outside. It's really hot outside. It's cracking flags out there. So flags here means a flagstone, like a patio stone outside. So if it's cracking flags, it means it's so hot that there's a crack in the patio. It's cracking flags out there. So people use that when it's really hot. If you want to know more Lancashire phrases, listen to somebody called Peter Kay. He is a comedian from Bolton, Lancashire. Peter Kay. And he is a very funny comedian. A lot of the references are about growing up in Northern England, in Lancashire, during the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But you can follow his accent and listen to the way he speaks. And he's going to use a lot of phrases that are from Lancashire. All right. Are you having fun still? If you are, click that like button. Right, next one. This is this is a good one. To harp on. Harping on. To harp on. If I say Sandra was harping on at work today. Sandra was harping on at work today. Do you know what that means? Can you try and guess what that means? Sandra is harping on, or Sandra was harping on at work today. To harp on. Do you know what that means? It means to like constantly talk about an issue, to constantly talk about something, and in an annoying way. So if Sandra was harping on about something at work, then she was talking about an issue, complaining about something in an annoying way, to continually do it, to harp on about something. So you might hear people say, stop harping on about that. Stop harping on about that. Stop complaining about it. Stop talking about that issue. Stop harping on about that. So that is harp on, to harp on about something. All right, it's question time. I have 5 minutes for questions. Let's do this quickly. I'm going to keep all these lessons to 30 minutes. Just while you're thinking about the questions, I'll just say, go to the description. There are different videos for you to watch. I'll leave a link to my free book, The 5-Step Plan for English Fluency, and I'll leave the list of the phrases used today. We've talked about cheeky, fancy, funny, dodgy, rubbish, nip to the loo, bloody, faff around, gutted, trouble at the mill. I didn't do that one. Maybe I'll do that one next time. Catching bus, cracking flags, to be chuffed, chuffed to bits, and to harp on. Okay, so what questions do you guys have? Let's see if I've missed any. Are these words from the streets? Yeah, this is informal English from Northern England. The first ones were from England. The last ones were from Northern England, mainly Lancashire. Is it very usual to use in England or USA? This is all England. That's the key to this lesson. I want to be like a native speaker, but English words, there's a lot of English words and it's frustrating. What should I do? Take your time, learn new words every day, but learn them through sentences. And I have a method for you to fluency.com/TFP, to Fluency program, to fluency.com/TFP. Lads is also British English. Yeah, lads. I'm going out with the lads. I'm going out with the lads. Going out with my friends who are boys. I'm going out with the lads. There were a bunch of lads hanging out on the street last night. There were a bunch of lads hanging out on the street last night. Can I practice speaking at home? Yeah. Go to my channel, look at the latest lessons, and there's a lesson called How to Learn English from Anywhere in the World at Home on Your Own. And I go through how you can get speaking practice, what to do to improve your speaking, how to internalize new words and phrases. It's a really good lesson if you want to do that. Okay, a lot of questions coming in. Can we use these expressions and phrases in every part of the country? A key part to slang is, it's more about being able to understand things. So if you watch a TV show and they use this type of slang, then you'll be able to understand what they're saying. It's a good idea to use something once you are comfortable with it, once you really know how to use it, especially in formal English. But at the same time, it's fun to use. A good example of this is Korean Billy. I think that's his name. He does English lessons. Check him out. He's on Instagram too, and he does videos that are funny about slang from different areas. So he uses it, and he does it in the right way. He does it so well, and he talks about how people should do it that way too. Hi Jack, is there any group where we can speak for practice? So find a speaking partner, a language exchange, join other English speakers, English learners on a chat, pay for a teacher, find friends in English. So get speaking practice that way. All right, 30 seconds to go. Let's see if I can answer another question or two. Any tips to prepare for the GCSE English test? I didn't know they did a GCSE. Oh, I don't know. It's a long time since I took GCSE English at school. I think I got an A in it. I think so. I got an A star in maths. Maths, British English. Math, American English. Can these slang words sound rude in an informal context? Yes, that's what I talked about. If you use it in a business meeting, you know, it can sound a little bit rude, but it depends on how you use it and what the person is like. All right, so guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and then share this video with your friends. I'll go live again very soon. And again, the best way you can know that is by turning on the notification bell. All right, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it, and I'll speak to you all soon. Okay, bye-bye.